Welcome to 3D Sportscast.
3.
We are at episode 7 already,
Yes,
which is
insane.
crazy. Week 9 of the going into week 10 already of the NFL season,
Already over halfway.
which is just crazy. But yeah, this was another just a lot of
There
stuff
was
to
a
talk
lot
about this week.
A lot of very cool things and very crazy things that happened.
Yes.
We'll just start
Get
off
right
with
into
the
it,
first
yeah.
game. Tennessee, Pittsburgh.
So Will Levis did not have as great of a game as he
No.
did his first start. Mind you, he was playing a better defense than the Steelers.
Much better defense.
But the Steelers, they have not looked great, but their defense is just
Their defense is
keeping
the
them in every
reason
game.
that they're
Yeah.
where they are. Let's
they're
put it that way.
5-3. They're the Steelers. They find ways to win, and they're a defensive-oriented team. And mind you, Will Levis, despite not looking great, still looked. He made some throws that looked good.
He looked like a rookie.
He is the future of the Titans,
For sure.
But it wasn't great at the. Yeah, it
No,
was.
he definitely. You can tell he's a rookie quarterback. He's still trying to figure things out. It was only his second game.
But there's definitely he's
So-
got great potential, and there's something there with him though still. So if you're a Titans fan, you got something to look forward to. Now dropping to 3-5, this is probably not your season.
Yeah.
But this is a step forward, I think, for the future. I know it's tough to say when in the last couple of years you were
you've
right in
been
the mix.
Right in the mix.
And now you're kind of.
But
But
on the bright side, the worse you do, the better draft pick you get.
that's true.
So you can build around your people. I mean, Will Levis is going to take a while.
And
when you start him, when
Yeah.
you first start him in the middle of the season, don't expect him
Yeah.
to have it figured out very quickly.
Well, and the trade deadline's by. You still got Henry. You still got Hopkins. I know those are a little bit older players,
yeah.
but good
Well,
veteran players.
there was a lot of rumors going around
yes.
that they were going to trade.
One of those, or not both of them.
Derrick
and
Henry,
They,
yeah,
they,
they held
still
on to
have
him.
him. So we'll see what the future is for Tennessee. But it was a close game. Not the most exciting game, but Pittsburgh at home, able to hold on. Kenny Pickett, at times he's looked good, but he hasn't looked great either. It's just, I don't know what it is with Pittsburgh's offense. I know I was telling you before we recorded that I saw that CJ Stroud's already got more career touchdown passes than Kenny Pickett.
Not looking too great for Kenny Pickett.
I don't know. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. It's just, I don't know. What is the issue?
I don't know if
with
the
offense.
offense isn't like he just because it's not like he doesn't have receivers.
Well,
like he doesn't have any big name crazy receivers.
I saw too
but still.
that George Pickens, who was their best young receiver, he was a little frustrated. I think it was on Instagram. He like unfollowed the Steelers and got all upset.
Yeah,
which,
I seen about that too. I don't know, whatever.
We'll see.
I'm sure that'll
That's
help the team.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll get more minutes because he did that.
It's just that offense. There's some issue. Even Najee Harris, who's a good running back, not looked great this year. Now Warren, I think it's Jalen Warren.
I believe you are correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
he has looked good for a backup running back.
Yeah.
But
And he's young as well, I believe. Yeah, second season.
Najee's still fairly young too.
That's his third season.
So I just don't. They haven't had any consistency. Let's just
No.
put it that way. Lack of consistency, especially in the passing game.
Yeah, it's working out for them. They're 5-3.
Well, 5-3.
I definitely, like we said earlier, their defense is holding them in these games.
The other thing that worries me about Pittsburgh is that they play in one of the tougher divisions, at least in the standings right now. I think if the season were to end today, their whole division would be in the plus, which is crazy. They got to play each other now down the road, and so
so that probably won't be the case at the end of the year. But as of
we'll
right
see
now,
how that plays out. It's going to be interesting in the AFC North, but I would say that Pittsburgh is probably one of the, as of right now, I would say even though they have a good record, it's probably the worst team in that division. Maybe the Browns.
I would definitely.
It's debatable.
It's tough
but
to say. The biggest thing is their offense needs to improve.
It does.
Their defense is the reason they have as good of a record
but
as
if
do.
they're in a good position now, but if they need to make, or if they want to make any sort of a run, they got to improve the offense.
They've got to improve the offense, whether that's getting weapons, changing up how you play, something.
I know a lot of Pittsburgh fans are asking for or calling for their offensive coordinator to be fired, but
Which, I mean, that
don't
might do something, but in the mid-season,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
ain't going to make much of a difference by the end of the year.
I don't know. So either way, Pittsburgh does get a win against Tennessee.
Tennessee just continues to look worse and worse all year,
Well,
at least offensively.
But they got a rookie QB in there. They're I think more looking forward
They're
future.
looking towards the future. At this
Pittsburgh,
point,
they have a young QB in there too, but they're in a position where they can make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But they still got some things to
with
fix.
a 5-3 record after Week 9, you really can't.
Yeah, no, can't complain, especially considering, So, good for Pittsburgh, but we'll see how the rest of the season plays out for those two teams. As let's go to this game first, because that was the first game Sunday in Germany.
Yeah.
Kansas City coming off of a very bad loss, playing a good Dolphins team.
Very bad loss.
Overseas. Not a great, for two,
I-
what you would say is offensive teams.
It was pretty low scoring, all things considered.
And one of the Chiefs' scores, which was the difference in the game, was a defensive touchdown. So, and the funny thing about that is that defensive touchdown came off of a Tyreek Hill fumble. He is still helping the Chiefs win games, even on the other team.
Paid him. They were like, hey,
it's funny because he was talking a lot of crap this week about, I'm going to have a great. He had probably his worst game. Actually, I think his worst game was against the Bills, but I think his second to worst game.
He did not play. It didn't even pass
this season.
65 yards.
No touchdowns. Had that fumble that turned into a Kansas City touchdown. Not a great game.
Kansas City's best receiver was not great.
Well, and that's a running back. Their backup running back was
Wait,
their best receiver.
Really? Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at these stat
McKinnon
totals.
is a running back.
See, why did it even pop up with him?
And again,
'Cause he
Travis
had the
Kelce
touchdown.
did not.
Yep,
Taylor
no
Swift was
Taylor
not there.
Swift.
He had a
only
bad
had
game.
14 yards. That's horrible.
So another bad game without Taylor Swift
Wow.
for Kelce. But either way, Chiefs do get. And this was a big game though in the standings.
This was and this was very big as far as which team. Like, these are two of the best teams in the league without a doubt. And the Patriots came out
I'll
on
say
top.
this though. Chiefs have not looked like the Chiefs offensively, but their
No,
defense
not in the
has
past
stepped
couple
up.
weeks, for sure.
And so I'll give them credit there.
To stop what I believe is the best offense in the league in the Dolphins, I do believe that their offense is better than Kansas City's, at least as far as efficiency goes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs' defense definitely held them. I mean, I was impressed. I did not expect the Chiefs' defense to be able to stop the Dolphins' game how it did.
Yeah, it's not. The turnout of the game was not exactly how I thought it would, but Chiefs find a way to win. And although I believe we both picked, we didn't even talk about our picks in the last game. We both picked who we picked the first game. So we got that one wrong, and we got this one wrong. We both picked the Dolphins. So to start the weekend, we were 0-2, both of us.
Not going well.
But I wanted the Dolphins to win, which is crazy as a Bills fan. They're in our divisions, so I just don't.
Yeah,
like the
but
Chiefs.
nobody likes the Chiefs.
But the thing is, with the Chiefs winning, it did kind of, in some ways, I kind of wish they both lost, but there's no way that, unless they tie or something. But no, with the Dolphins, it could happen. It hasn't happened yet this year, but with the Dolphins losing, it does, division-wise, help us out because we ended up losing too, which we'll get to that. But I hate that the Chiefs won, but if they were going to win a game, I guess this is a game that I'd like them to do it. Especially, I just didn't think it was going to, as good as the Dolphins have looked on, as bad as the Chiefs looked last week, I didn't see it.
No.
But
because, I think clearly the best team in the league beat them last week.
Yeah, the Broncos.
No, that was horrible. The Chiefs did so bad last week. They definitely stepped up, though. Beat a very good team in the Dolphins. They held a fantastic offense to, was it even 2 touchdowns or was it?
Yeah, 2 touchdowns.
So I don't think there's any field goals or anything there.
2 touchdowns, and they
just 2 touchdowns all in the
got a
third
defensive
quarter.
touchdown themselves. So that was the difference in the game. And Kansas City still finding ways to win.
Yep. Not against the Broncos, though.
Next game, your Commanders
My team, yes.
against a 2-7. Well, after this game, 2-7 Patriots. The weird thing is the Patriots have looked terrible, but yet they are. And sometimes, some weeks they've been close in games.
Hold it. Yeah, they hold around that.
They
stay in games.
They're competitive, but not good at the same time.
I think that's how you get all these people that are saying Bill Belichick's not actually any good because Tom Brady's not there. But then you see games like this, where Belichick still definitely has full control of the team as far as everything goes, and he holds them in games. It's not like they were getting blown out.
And I will say, obviously, having Brady helps a lot. But now, since Brady's left, the talent is just not there. No. So,
that'd be like Kansas City losing Mahomes, and then people saying Andy Reid's not good anymore. It's like, well, yeah, because he went from the best quarterback in the league to now no one. He has to find a good quarterback, and finding a good quarterback in the draft is one of the hardest things to do. Yeah. Period. But speaking of quarterbacks, Sam Howell has looked phenomenal.
We were talking also before we started recording about how, Sam Howell, first-year starter, second-year player, still very young in his career, Now, the Commanders' problem is obviously they trade away some key pieces, and their defense as a whole, even the secondary, has not been good this year.
I'm going to say we because they're my team.
Yeah.
We need a new defensive coordinator. Jack
Defense
Del Rio's
has not been
bad.
good.
We need a new. I think we need a new head coach. I don't like Ron Rivera. He's very defensive minded.
Also, you are under 500 after
we are.
Week 9.
I said he was going to be
Rivera
fired.
Rivera has not been fired yet. So, but I will say, I think also offensively, as good as Howell's looked, obviously he's got good weapons too. Offensive line needs improvement as well.
Big time. It's definitely improved these last few games. But I believe that is more to do with Sam becoming a smarter QB and getting rid of the ball sooner, reading the play sooner. Little tidbit: Sam Howell actually right now is second in the league in passing yards.
Yeah. I mean,
which is. Like, that's incredible.
It is. For technically a rookie. I mean, first-year starter.
A fifth rounder.
Yeah.
Like, he was not... I don't know if it tells you any of this.
It's just, either way, I mean, actually, that's crazy. He's... Looking at his birthday, he's
only 22.
He's 6 days younger than me.
He's younger than you are?
6 days younger than me. Wow. And he's... Makes me look pathetic.
Got second most passing yards in the NFL.
That's crazy. But no, that just shows how young he is. And
I'm as a Washington fan, I am extremely excited about him. He's looking like one of the best young QBs in the league. Although right now there are a lot of very good young QBs in the league, as we'll get to that.
The future of the NFL is bright with these young QBs.
Bright, yeah.
But either way, Washington, it was not a pretty win. But considering they after the trade deadline, they got rid of some guys coming back.
Yeah, getting rid of
Sweat and
Chase Young, and to come back after that of what pretty much the whole rest of the league was like, okay, well, the Commanders gave up.
Yeah,
and to win a game against the Patriots.
Mind you, it's a Patriots.
Not a good Patriots team. But still, to win a game like this,
which
we were actually underdogs in. If you look at the...
So, a win's a win in the NFL. I mean... I'm not one to talk. My Bills lost to the Patriots too.
Yeah,
so,
they did.
This is the thing about the NFL. It's like, it's just crazy. We killed the Commanders, but then we lose to the Patriots. You guys beat the Patriots. Like, say the Dolphins killed the Broncos, and the Chiefs barely beat the Broncos, then lost to the Broncos, but then the Chiefs turn around and beat the Dolphins. You never know in the NFL.
I seen a meme on Facebook. I think it was either last week or the week before. A full circle had been done, so every team had beaten a team that beat someone else. So every team could say that.
And that's
this team like the Broncos actually did beat the Chiefs, but like a couple weeks ago, the Broncos had beaten a team that beat a team that beat a team that beat the Chiefs. So the Chiefs were now the best team, or the Broncos would have been the best team in the league, or however. And then
that's funny, but it just goes to show in the NFL, any team can beat any team on any given week, and it's hard. I know sometimes looking ahead at schedules, you like to look at common opponents, which there's some benefit to that, but it's hard. You can't always go by that because
week to week is so different in the NFL.
With injuries, with just how everything's working out,
location, weather,
everything. There's a lot of factors, and so anyway, that's crazy. But Washington. 4-5, got to win here. So.
I mean, even though we're definitely not going to make the playoffs and win, I, as a Washington fan, is extremely excited about the future.
Yeah, the future is looking good for Washington.
Not looking great for Patriots fans. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know where Patriots are going to go next.
Mac Jones ain't it.
Next game, which was probably one of the games of the week, performances of the week.
A young QB?
Yeah. Speaking of
this is not a young
Well, he's
QB.
Not young.
He's a veteran QB, but he's new on the team, young on the team.
Yeah. Taylor Heineke's
been in a while.
9 seasons. Whatever.
Well,
the craziest thing. Okay, anyway, the game we're talking about is
the Vikings-Falcons. What are we
game.
picking? We didn't mention our picks in the last game either. What about the last game? The
Commanders.
So we got that right, but we got this. Now we're 1-3.
We got this one wrong, but I got this one. I'm okay having this one wrong.
Yeah, because we did not expect this to happen.
Imagine, Josh Dobbs' performance with a team that he had never practiced with before. He didn't know the plays. He didn't know the players. And he comes out and has the kind of performance he did and leads him to a win.
Let's set the stage. Last week when we recorded, the trade deadline had just ended. And we talked about how the Dobbs trade and how it it made sense, but it was not something that we saw coming.
Yeah.
But with Kirk Cousins' injury, it made sense. He comes in, I believe, last Wednesday. Didn't even take one snap or throw in practice. Did not know the playbook. Like you said, the playbook, his teammates, nothing. Now, he did not, because of that, he did not start this game. A rookie started. First quarter, he goes down with a concussion, and Dobbs goes right into the game and has that.
Just leads them to a win.
Has that. I mean, a game-winning drive at the end. Just, wow. I mean.
The thing is, you almost have to, like, yeah, it's surprising, but if you really think about it, Dobbs did not look bad on that Cardinals team.
No.
And that Cardinals team is atrocious.
Yeah.
They are horrible. So the fact that he didn't look bad on that team put him on a team like the Vikings where he has some weapons. He has the ability to take time, and he has people who can actually catch the ball and a defense to back it up. And he plays great.
That's going to say.
I know. Wait till Jefferson gets back.
Jefferson's not even back yet. This team is still without Cousins. They're making the best of it. And Dobbs, if he continues to play like this, learns the playbook, and Jefferson comes back, they are in a good position.
Yeah, I mean, they're above 500 now.
I know the Lions are atop the division, but they're definitely a wild card contender. This was a huge game too in the NFC.
Yeah.
Both these teams are 4-4 going in this game. And just a big win all the way around.
It's
Josh
crazy.
Dobbs.
Yeah, good for you Vikings.
What a
we all
story.
thought your season was over.
And I mean,
it still could be, but
yeah, we'll see. I'm rooting for him though. It's crazy. I know. I saw an interview with the head. I think it was on Pat McAfee, the head coach, just talk about how he was trying to break down what was going on to Dobbs during the game because and how. It's almost like sometimes with the lack of information, instead of just trying to be a mental game, you're just going out and playing.
With the flow. You're playing football.
And he played.
You can't overthink it if you don't know what to think.
You're just going with instincts. And also, like the coach said in that interview, if worse comes worse, just use your legs. And Dobbs did. He led the team in rushing. He had 66 yards and a touchdown rushing too.
I think he probably had more.
What he did is he used what he knew. He knows the game of football. He used his athletic ability, his instincts, and his football knowledge as a veteran quarterback, and he went out there and got a win.
He looked good.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the ball, the Falcons, Taylor Heineke's actually looked
pretty good. They didn't look bad either, yeah.
Taylor Heineke, since taking over for
it was Ritter.
Yeah, Desmond Ritter. He is.
Well, and we know what Taylor Heineke can do.
From his time with the Commanders. I mean, he's
not the best quarterback, but he's at times
he knows how to get it done.
Yes, he
has a lot of fight in him.
I'll say you what the biggest issue for the Falcons was this game is they settled for too many field goals.
I would agree with that. They didn't continue to push the ball when they should have. If you go to
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 field goals and a safety.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, they did put a couple in the end zone too, but
when you're getting that many field goals, you convert one of those to a touchdown, you win this game.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we've talked about that in the past, how it's important to
being able to close out in the end zone.
Especially, I mean, one was a 52-yarder, 40. So, okay, the 23-yard. Once you get close to that red zone, yeah, you got to be able to punch it in the end zone. So, but. What a win for the Vikings, though, on the road in Atlanta. This game was in Atlanta, too.
It's good for the Vikings. I want to say, obviously, Ryan Fitzpatrick has since retired. Mm-hmm. I think this era in the NFL's Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be Taylor Heineke, by the way.
I can see that.
Because whenever he plays for a team, everybody loves him. They think he's great.
He has those really games good where backup. He just performs fantastic.
Has these games where it's like, oh, my gosh, did he just do that?
Yeah. Now Heineke hasn't been on as many teams as Fitzpatrick.
No, not even close.
But I know what you're saying though. About,
the way he plays, getting these short contracts, filling in for people when they get injured.
He's not the best quarterback, but then he comes in at certain moments and he just has unbelievable performances. And so
it's crazy. It just when I seen his performance, I was like, it just made me think of Fitzpatrick.
So Heineke didn't play bad either, but Dobbs and the Vikings, good on you.
Yeah.
One of the best performances of the week. Now, a game that I thought was going to be good.
I was.
Wow. Let's just.
Yeah, they are.
The Ravens are a team that we need to really start talking about because last week they didn't look great, but the week before, remember, they beat up on Detroit at home. They won last.
Which is a good team. Detroit's very good.
They won last week, even though it wasn't pretty. Come back home and they beat up on another great team in Seattle.
Seattle.
And now sitting tied up with the Chiefs on top of the AFC, we got to start taking this Baltimore team serious.
Yeah,
they're doing this.
Everybody's been staying healthy. Lamar Jackson, he didn't have any touchdowns, but he was very efficient. I believe on the ground as well as through the air.
Who threw the touchdown? Because Odell got his first.
It was Huntley.
Yeah, I gotta say the backup came in.
Yeah, that's so funny.
The touchdown.
The one touchdown.
Odell got his first touchdown as a Raven.
Yeah,
but
took long enough.
Yeah.
You say Jackson only missed 5 passes.
But I believe he was probably on the bench because they were blowing him out by so much. They want to keep him healthy.
Yeah.
So
well, and the thing is, Jackson also was really efficient on the ground.
Huntley's a good
60
backup
yards
too.
As a QB.
We've seen Huntley come in last year and the year before and at times and play well too. So
yeah, I think that was his first. Yeah, that was his first appearance of the season actually.
But this Ravens team is good, and I know going into the season I thought they were going to be good. My biggest issue is can they stay healthy?
Mm-hmm. Can they stay
especially
healthy?
Lamar?
And, yeah.
Obviously, they lost J.K. Dobbins early on, but,
which was definitely a big blow. I feel like that hurt him more emotionally than it did anything.
But the fact that Lamar is still healthy, their defense is playing good too. I mean, they're just
hold the
let's talk about their defense. Yeah, I mean, Kenneth Walker. I don't know. Did he end up leaving the game and get hurt? Because he did not end up doing much. I didn't. Or he just had a bad game.
He just had a bad game.
Yeah, he had a terrible game. 16 yards for Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, 9 attempts. That's not good.
And only 13 completions and 157 yards for Geno Smith. No touchdowns and a pick. Not a good game.
No, and Jigba didn't look bad. 6 receptions, 63 yards.
Just give credit to the Ravens.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Ravens are looking like one of the best teams in the NFL.
Especially the last couple games that they played at home, they've just looked dominant.
Looked amazing.
Just dominant.
They're both all facets of the ball.
Yeah,
Special
both sides
teams,
of the ball.
defense, offense, they look phenomenal.
So
this Ravens team is going to be a team to beat.
I'm interested to see how far this Ravens team can go. If they stay healthy, if they play like this, watch out, man. I think it was a team that
put it together in the playoffs.
Again, we knew it was good, but we didn't talk about that much coming into the season. But I think I've been saying this the last couple of weeks, but this just proves we got to start taking the Ravens seriously. So
we definitely do.
Great win at home for Baltimore. Now another great win at home against, mind you, a bad depleted Arizona team. But again, another team in that AFC North getting another win. The Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson's back. Didn't have a great game, but 2 touchdowns, over 200 yards. Efficient. I mean,
he's not.
Again, he didn't have to do too much.
No, he didn't. I mean, it was against not a good team, and the Browns' defense is
very
good anyway. But you held the Cardinals to nothing.
Shutout.
Just traded away.
Dobbs,
I
don't care if it's the Cardinals with a bad or an unexperienced like 5th round rookie QB. A shutout in the NFL
is still impressive. Yeah.
So, we knew Arizona after that trade with Dobbs, especially that this obviously
it's over for them.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what they do this offseason.
They are going to get Kyler Murray back, I think, this next week.
Kyler Murray was actually, just before recording this, he was added to the active roster.
So that could change things.
He's back on the active roster as of 4 hours ago. They said he's going to start next week.
Yeah, so
we'll see how he does. We'll see if it's almost MVP.
Because remember a couple of years ago he started the season really good.
MVP,
obviously I think they need some more weapons around, but they're gonna have a good draft.
They definitely will. They have some good picks.
So we'll see what the future holds for Arizona. It's not their year, but Cleveland's right there in the mix.
Looking really good. I mean, the craziest thing about Cleveland right now is that they are where they at, and Deshaun Watson has played not good.
Well, he hasn't even played the whole time.
No, he hasn't played. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They're where they are because they have a very good defense. If they can put it together on offense, oh my gosh,
this is a scary team.
Be a team to beat.
Yeah, you're right, because defensively they've been fantastic. Now, their offense hasn't been terrible, but if they can just take it to a next level, this team's going to be really hard to beat if their offense really gets going,
when
too.
you have a defense as good as they do, you can win football games.
And obviously, they've dealt with injuries on the offensive end. Chubb's done. Watson's been in and out.
Which sucks when you have a running back as good as Chubb.
I agree.
And the injury that he had,
it was bad.
It's not looking good for him.
But I will say the good thing for them is that Kareem Hunt was still a free agent, and he was on the team prior.
He was on the team before.
So they were able to get him back, and he's filled in good with the opposite. And Ford has been good, too.
Now, Kareem Hunt still hasn't been playing.
He's
to
not
the point
Nick Chubb.
of where Kareem Hunt was very good for a while.
Because remember when he came in the league with Kansas City,
he was
good.
one of the best.
And but he's some
legal issues and then some injuries
But he's still good.
The Browns seem to like players with legal history.
That's true. That is true. I'm not a Browns fan myself, but. Hey,
good for them.
They got a good record at least. So
defense gets you 23 points on fantasy. Then.
Well,
yeah, I was gonna say if you had their defense on fantasy, man.
Well, again, they got a shutout. I don't know how many sacks they had, but a shutout is worth I don't know how many points in fantasy. So that's the big part of it. I don't know how many turnovers they had either, but let's see. They had
like 3 turnovers.
Make sure you're on Cleveland. Go down to defense.
That was defense.
Yeah, that was defense.
Well, I could go to the totals right here. Yeah, team. They had 7 sacks, 2 ints, a forced fumble. I don't know if they recovered the fumble, but still. They did do really well. Yeah.
They just obliterated Arizona.
Anyway, next game, a game that 2 teams that haven't looked, or at least record-wise, is not as good as we thought.
The thing that sucks for the Rams here is
Stafford was out.
Stafford being out. And he was definitely the anchor of the team.
Mm-hmm.
We have now discovered this with him out.
For sure.
Cooper Kupp in, Puka Nacua in. Everybody, all the weapons are there. And they didn't even score a touchdown.
Well, when you're on the road, mind you, Green Bay hasn't been great this year, but still a tough place to play on the road without your starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. And the Rams, even with Stafford, now Stafford's great, but they haven't been fantastic.
Still haven't been able to put it together.
Once I found out that Stafford was going to be out, I think, did we both pick the Rams this game?
Yeah.
Did we know Stafford
was out? But we didn't know Stafford was going to be out. We didn't know. Because once I found out Stafford was going to be out.
If you told me Stafford's going to be out, there's no way I was picking the Rams.
I knew the Packers were going to.
We should negate that game.
By the way, did we even. We keep forgetting to mention our picks.
You picked the Browns.
We picked the Browns.
We got that right. And the Ravens.
Okay, so we got those right.
So we were both good in the last 2.
But yeah, this one, I would have picked the Packers had I known Stafford
had I known Stafford was going to be out, I never would have picked the Rams.
When I found that out, I
knew. Their backup QB still has a picture of him in a Denver Broncos jersey on his profile picture here.
And again, Packers have not had a great season, but Jordan Love was efficient. Not anything crazy, but efficient this game.
Yeah.
20-26.
Yep, Aaron Jones went off, 73 yards.
And Aaron Jones has been in and out with injuries too, so him coming back healthy is also a big thing for the Packers. And a game that I don't think Green Bay is going to do anything this year, but a game, if you're going to try to make a run still, a game you needed to win was this one. They found a way to win. We'll see what the future looks for Green Bay. They're not in a great position right now, but we'll see. But
yep, the good thing about losing games is draft picks. That's about it.
Yeah.
And right now they're not. They're going to be middle of the road.
But this was a game that they should have won.
Yeah, if they wanted to still say, hey, we're not down for the count yet, they needed to win this game, and they did. So it's a good-looking game for them.
So Packers get a win there. Now another game.
Yes.
That was fantastic. And
if you've been paying attention, I have CJ Stroud and Joe Burrow on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
And I can never decide which one to start. But whichever one I start always usually scores like 4 or 5 fantasy points, and the other one scores like 40.
The one on the bench goes off, yeah.
Right? Well, Joe Burrow played before CJ Stroud, or after CJ Stroud.
It was after, yeah.
Right, so CJ Stroud went off for 40 points. Luckily, Burrow still had like
a decent game,
19 or 20 points. But Stroud had 41 fantasy points.
Let's just talk about Stroud.
Rookie
record performance.
We've been hyping up Stroud, and this just, for 470 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Get
as
out
a
of
rookie.
the way, Tom Brady.
This is fantastic. And if you saw
touchdowns.
that last drive, though, I watched that last drive. When Baker Mayfield and the Bucs scored their last touchdown with under a minute to go, you would have thought it was like 40-some seconds.
When
and it's
you're throwing 42 passes in a game and there's not even any passes that are close to a pick.
The thing is he's just putting them where he needs to put them for his receivers to get. In crucial moments, too, he just is comfortable delivering where he needs to.
He's making a crappy Texans team look good.
He's fine. I mean, this was, and I know we're talking about, I mentioned to you before we record, too, and I'd like anyone that sees this I'd like their opinion.
Comment.
Who had a better week, Stroud or Dobbs? It's two different scenarios, but Stroud obviously statistics-wise was, but Dobbs is a different. But what unbelievable performance! And this was crazy though. This was, I mean, that last drive. Well, again, game-winning touchdowns. Both had a game-winning touchdown within the last 30 seconds.
And the thing is, like you said, Stroud's game-winning touchdown drive. He didn't even look like he was sweating.
No.
That was one throw. What was it? Less than a minute?
It was 40 seconds, I think, when they got the ball.
Hold on, let's.
Well, when did they score? Tampa Bay scored their last touchdown.
It'll say. It was a 40-second possession.
Yeah, 40 seconds.
40 seconds. 6 plays in 75 yards.
So they got Tampa Bay scored with 46 seconds left. And the Houston scored with 6 seconds left. And Stroud, that one throw, once they got around midfield, he made a throw between a corner and a safety to the opposite sideline that was just perfectly thrown. Perfectly thrown. Dropped in a bucket.
You would think he's been in the league for 10 years.
You would have thought, I forget who I saw say this, but you would have thought they would have had a drone and just dropped it in his hands there, over top of the corner, right? I mean, it was dropped in perfectly.
CJ Stroud is, at this point in the season, a top 5 QB in the league.
Well, and he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Offensive Rookie of the Year for sure. He's got it.
Who else is
I know
gonna
the
win
first
it?
couple weeks we were talking about, it was between him and Nakua. It's Stroud now. It's
Stroud.
for sure. There's no debate anymore. It's CJ Stroud.
If he keeps up and continues to have occasional nights like this,
need to talk about MVP.
MVP.
Yes, we may need to talk about
he has this many touchdowns, one pick
I'll say this.
year.
If Stroud continues statistically like this, and if Houston can make a wild card spot, he deserves MVP.
He deserves it.
He deserves MVP. If he statistically continues at this pace and they make it into the playoffs, because Houston was terrible last year.
A horrible team. I expected Houston to win 3
now, mind
games
you,
at most.
Not only did they draft Stroud, they got a couple other good pieces around him this offseason, but still, as a rookie, Stroud playing this good, it's a new team still. This is a crazy.
And he's only gotten better as the years gone on.
And by the way, his one pick that he threw, not only did you predict, but
I did.
But the funny thing is, the defense fumbled it and they got it back.
Yeah, they got it back.
So technically,
his pick wasn't even a turnover.
His pick was still like a 3-yard gain.
It was. I seen that. Because they fumbled it and want to go 3 yards further than it was.
So literally, even that pick was not any harm. So this is just unbelievable. What we're seeing right now from
CJ Stroud
is unbelievable.
Is looking like the best rookie quarterback ever as far as efficiency goes. It's insane.
This is
being able to witness this season and the way his play is awesome.
And guess what? Ohio State can produce NFL QBs.
At least one of them.
There's only been one rookie to ever win MVP, and it was Jim Brown in the 50s.
Wow, so Jim Brown was the only rookie back in the 50s to if you didn't. I don't know how well the mic picked it up. Back in the 50s, Jim Brown was the only rookie MVP.
He rushed for 942 yards.
So he was a.
By the way, R.I.P. Jim Brown. I believe he just died this year too.
I believe he did. Actually.
But that last guy to do it. So.
Well, yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. In the 50s when it was a completely
been a whole
different game.
Couple generations, yeah. So.
And that's the thing. For a quarterback to win Rookie of the Year, too. Well, Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year.
Well, who else would you give? I mean, I'm thinking Mahomes, while the Chiefs have looked good, he's not had a great season.
Games.
Maybe Lamar. He's played good.
Lamar's looked pretty good.
Because Burrow started the season bad.
No receivers really stick out.
Allen hasn't been consistent.
I
Jalen
wonder
Hurts
if just real quick, we're gonna get a little sidetrack right now. Let's see what the MVP
odds are. Yeah, that's a good question. After this week, I haven't looked at that. What are the betting odds?
Obviously, that's betting odds, so people are just going to pick whoever they think it is. So it's probably Mahomes right now. So
and maybe
this is
Hurts.
Vegas. This is Vegas right here.
Yeah, Mahomes, Hurts. Yep, Lamar, Tua, Burrow.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers is still plus 1,600.
This is not good.
We'll get out of that.
And I think, I don't know.
Okay, here,
man.
this is 5 hours ago.
Well, now
Okay,
Lamar
Jackson, Jalen Hurts.
Patrick Mahomes, Tua, Burrow. Okay, McCaffrey.
Okay, McCaffrey I could definitely see. And maybe Tua, but
you know what?
some
He's
of these
not on.
guys,
He's not on this list, which is crazy. I mean,
Purdy's on the list.
Purdy looked good, but he has not looked good. Like
McCaffrey, I understand.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow has not looked good.
He has
the
lately,
past couple weeks.
He didn't start the season good. Josh Allen has had great weeks, but then terrible weeks.
Yeah.
And as a Bills fan, I mean, I love Josh, but even then, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff have looked. But the fact that he's not on there is...
Hold on. Let's see what...
I don't know, man. I'm just saying. Again, I don't think Houston will make the playoffs. And it's going to be hard to keep this up. But if he can and they squeak in, it's going to be hard not to...
So his odds... So he went from 200 to 1 odds. After this week, he is now 125 to 1, which is an insane jump.
Big jump,
that's
yeah.
almost double.
I think if Houston can make the playoffs and he has this kind of production to finish out the season, it's going to be hard. He's going to keep moving up.
If he continues to perform how he does, have these big yardage, big touchdown number nights, no picks, you've got to consider him. Because at this point in the season, like we've said, the odds are kind of skewed because it just takes into consideration what people think.
Yeah.
Not how performances have been, which is what really matters.
The other thing is, it's not like this, while this was his best performance, it's not like, oh, we had a really good game. Let's see how. Like, it's so far in the season now that we've seen enough of Stroud that it's been good. Consistently good.
Now, the past couple weeks, he did have some lower yardage.
Yeah, that's true. Nights, he did have a couple games that were not great.
But to have no picks, I mean... only have that one still.
As a rookie, even when he's not playing fantastic, he's still making smart, good decisions. He's just not playing like a rookie.
He is not playing like a rookie at all.
And what a win for Houston, as that puts him big game.
Puts him 500
for both these teams too. As it puts them at 500, right back in the mix. I mean, they're right there. So
is that still last week's win totals?
No, I believe Houston had a bye. So they're still 4-4.
Yeah, okay. So it did have their bye in there.
Yeah, so that's after the. But yeah,
either way, good for Houston.
Great game for Houston.
Highest scoring game of the week, I believe, which is crazy when the Chiefs and the Dolphins played each other.
And Tampa Bay and Houston.
Tampa Bay and Houston's highest scoring game.
But either way, great win and great game all the way around. But great win for the Texans. This next game, who did we pick that game? By the way, did we pick Houston?
Yeah.
Okay, so we did. Awesome. Now, Chicago at New Orleans. I believe we picked New Orleans this game.
Yeah.
This was a close game, though.
It definitely was.
I'll tell you what, Bajent,
a lot of picks.
He threw 3 picks, but he kept them in the game.
He did.
But Chicago was just, again, not.
Yep. And another week where the Saints don't use more.
Or the Bears.
Bears. Sorry, not Bears.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I meant.
You meant the Bears. Yeah.
I meant. I'm thinking somebody else.
I'll tell you this. Either
way, I don't know. The Saints didn't play nearly as good. They won because
they won, but
they won because they played the Bears.
Well, and I'll say this: who did play the best? Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Look at what Taysom.
He got a throwing touchdown.
Look what Taysom Hill did: 1 for 1 and a touchdown throwing, rushing 52 yards on 11 attempts, receiving 4 receptions on 5 targets, 13 yards, and a touchdown. So
he does everything.
He just fire the rest of the team.
Taysom Hill, wherever you want him.
Yeah, put 11 Taysom Hills out there. Good to go.
Wow. So Taysom Hill, really, he had 2 touchdowns. He won the game. He won the game for this team.
He did, actually. I mean, technically, if you want to look at
they only scored 3 touchdowns as a team. He scored 2 of them. The Bears only had 2 touchdowns as a team. So Taysom.
He was a free agent in our fantasy league, and I just
The weird thing is on fantasy, he's listed as a tight end. But what is he? He does everything.
Wait, is he? I wonder if you have him in fantasy and he throws a pass.
It counts.
Mm-hmm. It says 2 total touchdowns.
So your tight end has passing touchdowns.
That's why you need him, because it's like this guy's getting points that no other tight end's getting. So.
Yeah. Like, he's listed as a tight end, but he's a running back, receiver, tight end, quarterback, special teamer. Like,
he's just on everywhere. Every facet of the ball.
He's like a high school player.
Yeah. He is, I know. I wouldn't be surprised they put him in a defense.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's
looking really good. Definitely a bright spot for the Saints.
And Carr didn't have a terrible game here either.
He didn't. Carr still isn't putting up nearly the numbers that I think people expected him to. I know he's not that I didn't. I expected to. I think I've said that every week.
I thought he'd have a pretty, because I have him as one of my quarterbacks in fantasy too. I thought
being on a Saints team, getting in a different environment, to a team that has some better receivers
has had some success.
Yeah, they've had some success. Now their record isn't bad. 5-4 is not horrible, but they definitely haven't played as well as I guess expected them to at this point. Their offense isn't as good as I expected them to, I should say. But and the Bears it's the Bears.
Well, the Bears are the Bears, and they're not gonna do anything this year. They're just building for the future. Look forward to the draft, really. New Orleans, as they haven't looked fantastic. 5-4, they're in a spot that we'll see how they finish out the year.
The moves that they've made, they were expecting to win now.
The Saints, yeah.
But
I think they still could. They're in a position where they're not out of it. It's just not
doing
great.
what they expected.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to determine, okay, do you continue to play and be middle of the road where you don't get a good draft pick, but you're not going to go anywhere in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Like, that's got to be one of the hardest positions for a team to be in.
Well, I think the good thing is that they're in the NFC South, 5-4.
A lower division. I believe they're actually second in the division, aren't they?
Second or first, because Tampa Bay, we just talked about, lost. Carolina's in that division. They're bad.
Yeah,
and then Atlanta lost. They may still be in first in their division. What's Atlanta's record in Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay's now 3-5.
Just go standings.
Okay, yeah. They are. They're still in first in their division.
Well,
so that helps. They're not in a good division.
That helps a lot. You're going to win your division with a horrible record.
So that's the thing. The Falcons or Buccaneers could maybe make it interesting, but they're atop the division. So
yeah, I mean, hey, good for them, I guess.
So that's that.
Oops.
So Saints, they wasn't pretty again, but they found a way to win, top the division. So moving on now. Indianapolis at Carolina. And we're just talking about Carolina not being a good team.
Minshew Magic.
We both picked Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
No, Don actually picked.
Oh yeah, I did. I picked them for an upset.
I believe we picked three. I believe we picked 3 games differently this week, and this was one.
This was one of those. I think
The
I
only
just.
one you didn't give was
Well, we'll get to that, but
yeah.
It was in Carolina.
Biased pick.
But again, Bryce Young, 3 interceptions.
Bryce Young does not look good.
Hey, I'll just say this: CJ Stroud, Bryce Young went before Stroud.
All the people that were saying that they were dumb, or that Bryce Young was way better, and they were dumb for taking CJ Stroud 2 overall. You look dumb now.
Yeah,
like, really dumb.
Now, mind you, I think Stroud does have overall better weapons around him, maybe, but
I would agree with that.
Bryce
Young's looked bad.
Yeah,
like let's look at his stats. 1,300 yards, not horrible, especially for a rookie, but 8 TDs and 7 picks. I mean, that's just...
Yeah, again, he hasn't looked... He
could be good.
He could be good.
That.
And he's not on a good team. It's just not been a good start, especially for a number 1 pick.
Interesting stat. He's older than you, right?
No, he's young. He was born 2001.
Oh, yeah. So he's just a little bit younger than Sam Howell, who we were talking about earlier.
Older
than...
Younger
than Sam Howell.
Yeah, younger than Howell.
Who we were talking about as a young QB.
Yes.
So Sam Howell may be a second-year QB, but he is
still
he's young. Like
not even it's like half a year.
Yeah, like a half a year.
A little over half a year age difference there. So still young, but Sam Howell, if you consider that, has looked a lot better.
He's looked way better.
Yeah.
Now he obviously had a whole year behind.
And he's
not a great quarterback. It was behind Falcons.
Heineke.
Heineke, who isn't. I mean, he's been in the league a while.
Yeah.
But
And again, weapons-wise, too.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
A factor.
The Commanders
but,
are much better. But anyway, stop talking about my team.
Yeah, no, it's just the Panthers have not been good.
No.
And the bad thing is that they don't have their pick. Because
they traded it to the
for
Bears
Bryce Young.
For Bryce Young, yeah, because they traded up.
Yes.
They traded up
because the Bears
last
had
year.
the 1 pick last year, traded up to get Young.
Traded their pick.
Yeah, from this upcoming year.
Which is now going to be the number 1 overall pick probably.
So
for
now,
better quarterback prospect than Bryce Young.
And now the Bears have 2 good picks. Yeah, so it's just not good for the...
And it's looking great for the Bears.
Yeah, I don't know where you... I believe every team, as we talked about, are either still contending for the playoffs or even if they're not, have good future... Panthers are a team that I don't know where they're going.
Looking good at all.
I don't know where they're going to go. They're not in a good spot right now. So,
no, I guess if you want to pick a bright spot, you do have Bryce Young, who has the potential. He has a high ceiling.
Just hopefully it works out for you. You better hope because you gave a lot away for him too.
They definitely did. And I guess on the Colts side of the ball, Minshew has been doing pretty good filling in.
The good thing is, obviously, as a Colts fan, you wanted Anthony Richardson, your rookie, to get experience. He's hurt. That's unfortunate. But Minshew is an experienced guy. He stepped in, and 4-5 is not great. But considering all that you've been through with the Jonathan Taylor situation with Richardson, you're not bad. You're not bad. This wasn't a pretty game by any means, but you won on the road.
Yeah, and now your record doesn't look bad.
Against your old coach. Because the Panthers coach, Frank Wright, was the coach of the Colts. And
that wasn't last year, was it?
I believe he got fired last year, And so, again, it's been a struggle the last couple of years for the Colts just trying to find that guy. And obviously, Anthony Richardson, you hope is that guy. He's not playing right now.
Which definitely sucks.
Yeah, it does.
He's out for
I think it's the
rest of the season.
Yeah. So this is Minshew's team for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
you're in a position
not doing bad.
Where I'm interested to see what Indianapolis can do to finish out. We'll see what they do if they can make a run. But not a great win, but you won. So a win's a win.
Win's a win. You'll take it, especially when you're playing your backup QB
on the road. Yeah. So it wasn't a good Carolina team, but again, a win. Speaking of firing coaches and teams that haven't looked good, getting a good win. The Raiders. Now, mind you, it's the Giants, and we'll get into that. But let's go to the Raiders first.
They did look pretty good. I mean,
they fired their coach, their offensive coordinator. They benched Garoppolo, and they look like a different team.
They do completely different. I mean,
O'Connell had a good game. Jacobs had almost 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. They finally got him going.
It's crazy to say that they look good after benching Garoppolo.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's Jimmy Garoppolo.
Now, mind you, this game was at home. You played a beat-up. Daniel Jones finally came back from injury, and then he ended up tearing his ACL, and now he's out for
the poor guy. You got the veto for the rest of the year. He doesn't even have it.
Tyrod got hurt, too, and may be, I don't know how long he's going to be out. So, you're stuck
with... Did they put him on the IR?
I don't know. It's just not good if you're the Giants.
It's not.
No. I will say, DeVito at least had positive passing yards this game.
He did. Go DeVito.
He had 2 picks, but he did get a touchdown. Actually,
his efficiency.
Decent efficiency.
Yeah, if you count the completions to the other team, he did way better.
Actually, if you count all of his completions and interceptions, he only had a couple that hit the ground. Everyone was caught, not always to the right team, but about every single. There was only
there was only 3 passes that hit the
actually
ground.
Went incomplete. So,
on the good side for the Giants, Barkley looked pretty good. 90 yards, 16 attempts.
He needs to stay healthy too for them. But this is not their year at this point. Obviously.
No, at this point they're getting a good.
The funny thing is, the Raiders, as bad as they've looked, they're still 4-5 too.
I did say the Raiders are going to make a wild card, it's not looking as crazy the longer the season goes on.
I think this team just looked like they had a different energy about them with this.
They definitely did.
All the change that they had this past week. They got in there at home, obviously against a beat up Giants team, but they played great. We'll see how if it continues. Agree with that. But I guess good for the Raiders.
Devontae Adams still didn't really get too involved.
Which is unfortunate.
He got quite a few targets. I don't know if that's just him not catching.
I'll say this: we said the same thing last week, and
Now, last week, though, with the way Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing the ball, half the targets were like 40 yards away from him. There's no way he's going to catch
reception to target ratio was, even though it wasn't great, was actually still up this week compared to what it was last week.
It was horrible.
So it wasn't great, but it's an improvement. You won the game. You didn't actually need, I guess, a whole lot out of him. Now, in order for the Raiders to be a good team, you're going to need more out of Devontae Adams or use him more.
Definitely.
This game they didn't need to, but
with talent-wise, he's definitely the best receiver on the team, and now he did get the most targets this week.
Yes.
By at least a couple.
Which I believe he did last week too, but he only had 100 catch.
Yeah, but if you look at the things last week, I mean, it was in his general direction.
Yeah.
But just because it's in the same zip code doesn't mean it's going to him.
So, I mean, just because the mail delivery person delivered it to your neighbors doesn't mean they delivered it to the right house.
Definitely not.
So,
Definitely not.
It's a win for the Raiders. It's a good win. So we'll see how they go.
Really bad loss for the Giants.
They move forward after this, and the rest of their season goes. But not good for the Giants. No. As another great game of the week.
Actually, very good game.
This was a great game to watch. As someone that, if you're just a football fan, not a fan of either of these teams, it was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Honestly, the Cowboys should have won this game. We picked the Eagles, right? We got it right.
So we both got it right.
In Philadelphia, divisional rivalry game, a big game. But the Cowboys, let's talk about a few things. Dak Prescott,
he played
good. But there was one touchdown. It was like on the fourth down. They were a half a yard short.
Yeah, they were. He stepped out of. I seen that.
He was just stopped short. But then on a 2-point conversion, which would have made it a 3-point game, is the one where he stepped out of bounds.
He stepped out of bounds and missed it. And the thing is, the guy wasn't on top of him.
No.
He just put his foot out of bounds.
And then on a fourth down, now mind you, they should have been their last possession. They got lucky and got a possession back, which they just got stopped short. Mm-hmm. But the possession before that, on fourth down, I don't know if the weird thing is they didn't really, it wasn't talked about much, but I noticed Prescott stared down his receiver and threw an incomplete pass on a crucial fourth down. But if you look at watch that replay again, anyone, the tight end was wide open up the seam, and he didn't see him. He just did not look at. He stared down the receiver. I think it would have been a touchdown on that play if he saw the tight end. There's just so many missed opportunities for the Cowboys in this game. The Eagles are a great team. So was the Cowboys, but they did not convert.
Did not.
They just. Honestly, football, they say, is a game of inches. This was one of those games.
This was definitely a game of inches because there was a lot of things that if a play would have gone slightly differently, the outcome of the game
changes. It's just sad because as good as Prescott played, there still were plays.
Well, and not just Prescott. Look at CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Almost 200 yards as a receiver. I have him on my fantasy team.
It's just as good as Prescott played, he still missed some things in key moments that hurt them.
He still played like Dak Prescott.
Like that's the thing. Dak Prescott is not a bad quarterback. He's just when it comes to clutch moments, he's just not able to come through.
There. No, and there's been a lot of times where it's like, Dak Prescott at this point, he's been in the league for what? 8 years, and sometimes he still plays like a rookie.
I'm one too that I think a lot of times too much is put on the quarterback.
Yes.
And again, Dak had a good game, but there were certain cases it was on Dak.
Like you've got to have a better eye on the field. Who's open, where they're at,
where your own feet are,
where you're at, because that had a big impact today.
So that's the thing. Dak's a good quarterback, but and again, I think a lot of times people give quarterbacks too much crap for their teams losing, but there also is moments where, as a quarterback, you are a leader of the team, and you gotta. Yeah.
If that foot doesn't step out of bounds,
they don't have to go for the end zone. They are in field goal range at least twice, and the game's tied at least, and it's a different ball game. I mean,
completely different.
So again, CeeDee Lamb on that fourth down play. CeeDee Lamb had a great game. Didn't find the end zone, but on that fourth down play, the weird thing is he didn't go to CeeDee Lamb. Now I think they double. The safety came over and helped.
Yeah.
He looked to
they should. CeeDee Lamb
and he looked to the right, but that's why the tight end was wide open up the middle because he looked this way. CeeDee Lamb double covered here. Yeah. The tight end's right up the seam, and you didn't even find him.
I don't know how you missed that. You didn't. I mean, he clearly just didn't even scan the field.
No, he
didn't.
Knew
who he wanted to throw it to, and that was it.
And if you look at the box score, the tight end Ferguson had a great game. He scored a touchdown.
He did 90 yards as a tight end, dude.
So other than CeeDee Lamb, he was your number 2 target, and you didn't even look at either of them. You didn't even look that way in the field on that play, and you threw it.
He just threw it to the guy in double coverage deep down the field because he just wanted the big play.
It's just not.
Dak Prescott, I feel like Dak does this a lot. And I feel like Zeke did it a lot.
Yeah, and I know
a lot of obviously Zeke's not on the team anymore. But a lot of the Cowboys, I feel like.
Well, and I know it's hard. I hate the Cowboys, and I like to give them. Although I
really don't like the Cowboys.
Well, I don't like the Cowboys, but right here I'm actually being serious and more just like looking at film and critical. And I know a lot of people give my Bills and Josh Allen a hard time too, because a lot of times it's sometimes similar things. I don't know. It was a great performance, but not good enough in a big game on the road. It's just. That's a tough one to lose if you're Dallas.
It is. And obviously the Eagles are perfect.
Eagles are good, yeah.
Same division.
The thing is the Eagles are good, but this shows you can beat them. It's just you got to play good
put it together,
to beat them. And
the Eagles the Eagles just have looked great all year.
The Eagles have just barely snuck out wins, though, lately.
That's true. The last couple of weeks.
They find ways to win.
Which is one of the most important things that we've talked about, that when you – even if you have bad games and you're close, you've got to put it together in the end zone.
Although,
the red zone, you have to convert.
On the flip side, we talk about all of Dallas's opportunities. Philadelphia gave Dallas too many opportunities.
They did.
You know, it's almost like Philadelphia. There's multiple times it looked like they should have won, and Dallas had. Now, mind you, they still ended up winning. Dallas couldn't convert, but Dallas had too many chances to win this game. And on Dallas' side, it's like, oh, man, we were so close. On Philadelphia's side, you got to be like, it was way too close. Yeah, it was way too close.
100%.
So a big win for Philadelphia in the division at home. A fun game to watch, but a tough one to lose if you're Dallas. Lucky one if you're Philadelphia.
Definitely, yeah.
So
Philadelphia is still definitely one of the best teams.
Yeah, they are.
And like Dallas is also one of the best teams in the league.
They're just a little bit more inconsistent.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
the thing. So it's not like they almost let a crappy team beat them. They almost let a pretty good team beat them.
A divisional rival, too. Yeah. And another interesting thing is I think last year Prescott and Hurts never played each other, because I think the one time they played, Hurts was out, and the other time they played, I think that's what I heard. So this is their first time that they played each other in a while. It lived up to the hype, but Philadelphia comes out with a big win. Game. So it was a great game. And a game that was a good game, but tough, really tough for me. Cincinnati. It was, again, I feel like I was watching what I watched last year. It was just a continuation of
your Bills.
Cincinnati, first of all, is a good team. I don't know what their deal is. They start the season bad, and they just
every year.
They just start playing like
they look atrocious.
Yeah, and then they start playing like we
Joe
thought.
Burrow's MVP again.
So there's that. The Cincinnati on that part of the season, we're starting to play good again. But also, when we play the Bengals, it's the same thing where Josh Allen, too much is on his shoulders. He plays good, but not good enough. The offensive line does not play good enough, and the defense is beat up and doesn't play good enough.
You're right there.
Yes.
You're so close.
But there's things, in sports, little things, even back to the last game.
Yeah.
A game of inches. Little things and little mistakes in big games add up and cause bigger issues, right? And I think too much is on Allen's shoulders. He played a decent game. Now, that one interception was not a great throw, but we just couldn't keep up with the Bengals.
No.
And mind you, our defense, it seems like the last couple games, 2 or 3 guys on our defense are getting, it's like our defense is just so beat up.
Like they're just they just can't even play because they're too hurt.
Diggs had a great game, got involved. But again, from the very beginning, we were playing from behind and trying to keep up with the Bengals. Now,
and the Bengals are looking better and better every week. They're starting to get on a roll.
Now, we're close, but it's not good enough.
No,
and it's just
not.
It's tough as a Bills fan. It's like, here we go again.
Especially after 9 weeks. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that after week 9
we're 5-4,
Bills would be 5-4, I'd been
because the toughest part of our schedule
Allen get hurt?
is yet to come.
Yeah,
and that's what makes me even more nervous.
Your second half of your season is going to be really tough.
Because as of right now, if the season were to end, we're not even. Obviously, all of the AFC North teams are in. They're going to beat each other up. Things are going to change, but we're not in a wild card. Now we play Miami again. The thing is, we control our destiny still, but we got to win these games.
You do,
and it's just. It makes me nervous as a Bills fan.
It is definitely. If I was a Bills fan,
position.
Your record is only 1 game different from the Commanders' record.
Yeah.
And it's the Commanders.
And, the weird thing is unless you're a really good team, like, say, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Ravens, some of those,
Every
or a
team
really
is
bad
still
team.
in it.
Every team in the middle
Yeah.
there is pretty
There's
close.
Like 4 or 5 teams
In both the AFC and NFC, that's right
that
within
are
a game
all
or so.
right there.
And so that's the thing. Games like this are important. Obviously, that was in Cincinnati. Good for the.
Now
I mean,
this though, it's just kind of like last game with the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really beat yourself up too much because this is a very good Bengals team that is 100% capable of winning the Super Bowl.
And it's
just
weird
like you
because
guys. So
as a Bills fan, I don't mind I don't have anything bad to say about the Bengals. But it's also frustrating because, I like the Bengals, but I don't.
So much of your team to see them lose like this.
I don't have anything bad to say about the Bengals. There's a lot of most other teams. I think I'd say I hate more than I like Joe Burrow. I like. It's just
Buckeye QB. He's a Buckeye QB.
Well, not really, but I mean, he did technically graduate from Ohio State.
He has an Ohio State
degree.
diploma.
Yeah, that's true. So, but no, it's just as a Bills fan, it's like. Obviously, you want your team to do good, and it's tough, especially in big games like this. Like, you have high expectations. You want your team to be good. We saw our team get eliminated by the Bengals last year, and it's just these are two teams that are not only Super Bowl contenders, but are two teams and franchises that have never won a Super Bowl. So
they both want to get there really
I
badly.
would like my team to win the Super Bowl before the Bengals. I'm just I don't know, it's just
I feel like most people would say that.
No, I agree. But good for Cincinnati. Well, Buffalo, let's get it together. Let's get it together. Tough one there. That's the one game you picked, right? That I didn't. Obviously, I'm a little biased.
You're a little biased there.
You got
but
the Bengals there.
That was going to be a
could have
close
gone
game
either way.
regardless.
Yeah.
It's
Last night. First of all, both defenses played fantastic this game. It's just, again, this is why I think we picked this game different. You picked the Jets, I picked the Chargers, and this was the difference in the week. I beat you by one game because of this.
Horrible.
And I'll tell you what, when I said last week is I think that both defenses are good. The thing that I think is going to be the difference maker is the Chargers offense I think is better than the Jets. And
clearly.
That was the difference. Mind you, the special teams got it going with a punt return touchdown for the Chargers.
Yeah, which was definitely a big momentum thing.
And Herbert didn't actually, stats-wise, have a great game.
He didn't even throw 140 yards.
But he didn't need to have a great game because the Jets' offense was so bad. How many turnovers and sacks did they have? Let's look at the box score here. First of all, let's look at the Chargers.
Oh, you can go to team and
let's go to the Chargers defense here. 3 forced fumbles. I believe they recovered 2 of them. They didn't have any ints. But they had the punt return, and how many?
Yeah, fumbles. So, the Jets had 4 fumbles, 3 of which they lost.
They lost 3. They had 4.
The Chargers actually had 3 fumbles, but they didn't lose
one.
There was no interceptions.
It's just, it was a defensive game. How many sacks by the Chargers? Where is that? I don't know where that is. I think they had 7 or 8. I think.
Why is safeties on the box
but
score,
not sacks?
Wait,
you should go to the defense or
wait. What do you want?
Go to Chargers defense. Okay. There should be sacks.
We're figuring it out, folks.
Defense sacks. Yeah, go to the bottom there.
Oh, geez.
8. Yeah, they had 8 sacks. So 3 fumbles recovered. 8 sacks. Again, the Jets defense played good too. It's just it was a defensive game. The Chargers. The funny thing is, we talked about last week, going into this game, the Jets actually had a better record than the Chargers.
Yeah.
But the Chargers are, in my opinion, the better team.
I would definitely agree
They
with that.
won. Now, I don't blame you for picking the Jets because really going in, it's like it could go either way. It was at the Jets.
I think the biggest difference maker in this game was the run game.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler had a phenomenal game, and the Jets defense just could not stop him, which, again, I'm okay with that.
You had him on
my fantasy
team.
Yeah.
And by the way, we played each other in fantasy this week. He did win, even with Stroud on the bench. So I had a terrible week.
Yeah,
Anyway, it's just a good win for the Chargers.
Definitely.
The Jets still in the mix, but we knew
again both of these teams are right where we were just talking about.
Right in the middle there.
4 and 5, 5 and 4.
4 and 4.
Yeah, like there's a ton of teams right there 1 or 2 wins behind
Yes,
that
yes.
can easily get into the playoffs.
I agree. And
both of these teams are in that
The
category.
Chargers are a team that they've lost a lot of close ones and had key pieces injured as well.
They've got to put it all together.
Yeah.
They have the pieces. They might be missing a few things.
It's just if they can win close games and stay healthy, they got a shot.
Which I think we've talked about quite a few of the previous weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If they can put it together in the red zone, they would win more games. You have to be able to put the ball in the end zone.
But let's see if this game gets them started, because this was a big win for them.
It was, and it was a win in all facets of the ball. Defense, offense,
actually,
and special teams.
Obviously, I knew we talked about the Jets' offense isn't fantastic, but this was the best game that the Chargers' defense has played all year. I mean, they played great.
In my opinion, this was the Chargers' best game in every sense.
And this is how the Chargers' defense should look. I mean, you got Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. You have the. Even in the secondary, you have Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. You got pieces. You just got to put it together, and at least defensively, they played their best game this year.
They looked very good,
and they pulled out a big win, which we'll see how it goes as the season.
We'll
continues.
see if this is a turning point for them in the season if they start to crank out some more wins.
But a great win for the Chargers as that wraps up Week 9.
A lot of bye weeks.
There was
4 bye weeks.
4 bye weeks last week. As we go forward, I guess we can talk about our predictions for this next week. As this is going to be a terrible.
Do the Bears lose to get a better pick or win to get a better pick in the draft?
Carolina versus Chicago on Thursday night. How did this get primetime, man?
Yeah, this is a primetime game against old French bread himself and
Bagent, or however you say it.
Bagent.
Close enough.
Whatever.
I'm going Chicago. I think it's at
Chicago. I'm definitely going Chicago. I do not think the Panthers are going to win this.
It's just this is a
thing is whatever the dude Bagent hasn't actually looked that bad.
No.
I mean in my opinion he's looked better than Bryce Young has.
For sure. I think so too.
So if we're going just QBs here. And the Bears' defense, I would say, is definitely better than.
Yeah,
both these teams. Much.
Both these teams are not good. I just think Chicago's looked a little bit better. They got one more win, and they're at home. Mm-hmm. It could go either way, but that's why I'm going Chicago.
Definitely going Chicago.
Let's go that game. I don't know why it's not first.
Why it does that.
Because this game is also in Germany. I think this is the last international game this year, I believe. Mm-hmm. Indianapolis versus New England. In Germany, Sunday morning. Indianapolis is the favorite. I think I'm going to go Colts.
I'm going Colts as well. The Patriots just have not looked good. They've been looking better these past couple weeks, but they still haven't looked good at all.
And I wouldn't be surprised if New England found a way to win this game. It's just because Indianapolis hasn't been fantastic.
As far as confidence goes, I'm not super confident.
I just think Indianapolis is the better team.
I would agree.
Going overseas, it's a neutral site. New England's supposed to be the home team, but we've already talked about it.
Yeah, it's away. It's basically a neutral site.
So we'll see, but I think Indianapolis. That's what I'm going with.
Yep.
So your team next, Washington at Seattle.
As much as I want to pick my team,
now mind you, Seattle's had a good year, but they just are coming off of a bad loss to Baltimore.
Yeah, against a good Baltimore team.
Yeah, that's true.
Though.
I'm going Seattle. It's in Seattle.
And after giving up 2 of the best defensive players in the league.
I think Seattle come back home, going to have a bounce back week.
I'm going to agree and say Seattle, although I am going to say I think Sam Howell has another very good game.
Yeah, I think
never mind. I was going to say I think he's going to be the leader in passing yards after next week.
I'm going to say statistically I think he's going to rack up the yards. It's just it's not going to be enough to win.
Sam Howell very well could be the leader in passing yards because the Dolphins are a bye. I'm going to say he will have that, yes. Seeing as he's only 200 behind, and he's had over that quite a few weeks in a row.
Another important game, a divisional game in a tight division.
Yeah.
Cleveland at Baltimore. Now, we just talked about Baltimore had a really good week last week against Seattle, or last week against Seattle.
Talked about how Cleveland's defense has been very good.
This is interesting.
This will be a good game. I think this will be a really good test, more for Cleveland's defense than it is anything.
And I think it's a good test for Baltimore. It's that side of the ball is what to watch. Cleveland's defense versus Baltimore's offense. Baltimore is the favorite at home.
Yep. I'm going to go Baltimore on this one. Just being at home, coming off of that good of a win, I'm definitely going to go Baltimore. I don't think Cleveland's defense is going to be able to stop Baltimore's offense.
I'm going to go Baltimore as well, but the point spread is -6, and I think it's going to be even close. I say a 3-4. It's going to be a close game.
It's going to be a close game.
I think Baltimore's going to win, but they're not going to have one of those blowouts like they've had the last. Yeah. I think Cleveland's going to keep it a tight game,
yeah.
But I still think Baltimore's going to win. So.
Yep. Next up, Houston, Cincinnati.
This is going to be an interesting game, too.
This is 2 Ohio State quarterbacks. No,
yeah.
It's not really. Joe Burrow's not Ohio State.
No. It's in Cincinnati. I would say Cincinnati's the better team, but if we see CJ Stroud keep performing like
honestly, I'm gonna say Houston just because I'm gonna ride that high of CJ Stroud is awesome.
I'm rooting for CJ Stroud, and I actually hope Houston wins this, but I think I gotta go Cincinnati.
See, that's the problem. You're reasonable about it.
Yeah.
I just go with whatever I want to have.
No, I actually would like for Houston to win, but
when
yeah.
you're reasonable, it never works out.
Yeah,
no,
sometimes I am reasonable and it doesn't work out.
You
Yeah,
just pick randomly. These picks are never right.
You never know. Yeah. So, but I'm going
I'm going Houston for sure. CJ Stroud's going to throw for over 400 yards.
Break his own record.
He's going to break his own record. He's going to throw for 7 touchdowns, 600 yards. No, it's not happening.
Honestly, I'll say this. I'd love for this game to be a shootout game, though. Just scoring both ways.
Well, and 42 to 48.
Well, and who are you going to start? Because these are your 2 quarterbacks in fantasy.
I'm starting Stroud this week.
Well, hey.
I did start Stroud. I do have both the QBs, so I hope it's a shootout and my bench scores more points than whoever I'm facing.
Well, we'll see. But either way, I think it's going to be an interesting game.
Very interesting.
Another interesting game next. I think San Francisco coming off a bye at Jacksonville.
After getting Chase Young. I'm going San Francisco just because now they have Bosa and.
I think that defense is stacked now. I think the bye is going to help too, getting a little bit healthier,
getting rested.
But you're on the road against a Jacksonville team who's currently they come off a bye too, both of them. And at Jacksonville's currently got the longest win streak in the NFL.
Yeah.
The 49ers have had a 3-game losing streak now,
but they're getting people back now. They had a bye. Their biggest thing was they were beat up.
Both teams, though,
McCaffrey's still been playing great. Purdy's going to be off of a rest. Now they're
I'll say this. I still think the 49ers are the better team. But just based off of what we have seen the last prior weeks of these teams before the bye, anything can happen. It's in Jacksonville. I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I just think that I'm going to look at the trend that's going on. The Jacksonville's on a big win streak. San Francisco on a bit of a losing streak. Now, coming off the bye, obviously that kind of helps kind of reset things for both teams. But it's in Jackson. I don't know. I'm going to go.
Feeling Jackson.
I'm going to go Jacksonville.
Okay, well, next game, Saints-Vikings.
Interesting game there,
too.
This
is an interesting game. I'm actually going to go Vikings here. I just was really impressed with how Dobbs played, the offense in general. The Saints just haven't seemed to be able to play up to expectations as far as really anything.
Yeah.
Record-wise, I think they're not where they wanted to be, but kind of where I halfway expected them to be.
I think that going into the year, we had higher expectations for both these teams.
At least offensive-wise. I mean, I did expect them to be better than they are record-wise. I didn't expect them to be like 2 losses, whatever.
I know what you're saying.
But
I think both these teams were those kind of middle-of-the-pack teams that we had some expectation for. I believe I picked both these teams to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Saints, I picked to win the division because they're not in a great division like we talked about before. Minnesota, I think, has a wild card team. So both these teams had slow starts this season but are getting back on track, both coming off of wins. It's in Minnesota, and I am agreeing with you. I'm going to ride that Josh Dobbs high. I'm rooting for him.
Go Dobbs, man.
Go Vikings. I'm rooting for Dobbs here. I'd love to see this Dobbs story. Can you imagine if they make the playoffs?
Dude, with him, what do they get? Yeah.
We'll see. But I'm going Vikings there.
Yeah.
Next game.
Packers at Pittsburgh.
Ooh, 2 offenses that haven't looked great this year.
Yeah.
But again, it's in Pittsburgh. I think the difference is Pittsburgh's defense.
It's got to be Pittsburgh.
I picked Pittsburgh. It's crazy because they're not a great team, but yet they're finding ways to win games, and their defense is just so good.
Again, I think that has to come down to coaching.
Yeah.
Like I think I've said it most of these past couple of weeks. Pittsburgh's just got a good coach.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you look at his record, he's never been under 500. It doesn't look like he's going to have a losing season yet again.
Yeah.
I mean,
they find ways to win. They're at home. Green Bay has not looked great this year. Yeah.
They're winning. Pittsburgh for sure. Next up, Tennessee, Tampa Bay. Tennessee has not looked great.
No, well, you got Tennessee. Well, this is Will Levis's third start. Had a great first start. Played that Pittsburgh defense last week. Not as good.
Did not look
Going
good.
On the road to Tampa Bay, who's kind of on a losing streak now. But they very easily should have, could have won that game last week against Houston. Just Stroud was better.
Yep. Stroud was the difference
now,
in that game.
Can another rookie QB and Levis tear up that defense again? The Tampa Bay's defense has not looked great.
Neither team, I would say, has a very good defense in this game. I would definitely say Tennessee has a better defense.
Yeah, I actually think I'm going to go Tennessee. I think Tampa Bay's on the right. I mean, they played a little bit better last week, but defensively not. I think Will Levis is going to bounce back again from that loss last week. I know they're on the road, but Tampa Bay just has not looked good enough. I'm going Tennessee.
I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to say Tampa Bay. I think defense is not going to play a very big part in this game. I think
could be another
it's
high scoring. Yeah.
So I'm going Tampa Bay.
Next game, Falcons at Cardinals.
How are the Falcons only 1 point favorites?
Yeah, I'm going Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta for sure.
Coming off of
is there like some crazy thing I don't know about?
Kyler Murray coming back may be something. Would that be it?
Maybe.
But is Kyler Murray really going to make that? He hasn't played.
Dude, Arizona's actually got a 75% public bet in favor of them.
My thing is Kyler Murray has not played in so long, and the Cardinals, even with him, are just not good enough talent-wise.
I'm going Atlanta.
And Atlanta's not great. Has not been great either. They're coming off of a tough loss at home again to Minnesota and Dobbs, but Arizona, even with Kyler Murray, I just don't think they're at home. I don't know. I get some of those factors, but I think Atlanta's gonna win.
Wipe the floor. Kyler Murray is gonna get another injury and be out for the next 50. No, it's not gonna happen. That's rude. I shouldn't say that.
Well, if it does happen,
I halfway said it.
I'm telling you, at the end of this year, I'm gonna have to make a compilation of our best predictions.
All, yeah. The pick one, CJ Stroud.
Yeah, that was probably the best one.
Because I literally fine tune the details.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's the home field and Kyler Murray come back. That's probably the factors that they're factoring in, but Arizona's just not been good this year.
So bad. Even if you add prime Tom Brady to this team, and they still lose. They're still a bad team.
It's okay. So we both go Atlanta there. Moving on. This is going to be interesting too. Detroit at the LA Chargers.
I'm going Detroit. I believe they're coming off of a bye.
Bye. Yep. They're. Yes.
Yeah, because I couldn't start Sam Laporte, and I had to start.
Well, the four teams with the bye, I believe, were the Jaguars, 49ers, Broncos, and Lions. So, yeah, they're one of them coming off. Mind you, the Chargers we just talked about having a good win on Monday night on the road in New York. Could that turn around their season? I think we'll see. This should be a good game.
The problem is Detroit, after a good win, they're playing a good Detroit team.
Coming off a bye.
Coming off of a rest week. I think Detroit's going to win this game.
And the Chargers are still a little bit beat up, obviously, against the team coming off a bye. Have not been able to win close games against good teams. I'm going Detroit, too.
Detroit, for sure.
So,
next
another rivalry game.
Another really close, definitely not favored by over 2 touchdowns.
Hey, this is a rivalry. This is a rivalry divisional game. Anything can happen, but yeah.
Dallas.
The Giants are terrible as they are. They're beat up. Dallas coming off of a tough loss in a game they should have won.
Danny DeVito's second cousin is playing for their QB.
Dallas is coming off of a game, another divisional game on the road they should have won against a very good Eagles team. Back home, Dallas.
Dallas is winning.
Dallas is going to win. So now they can beat up on the bad teams, but
yeah.
Well, honestly, I think this is going to be a blow. I think they're going to blow them out.
It was the first.
Yeah, that's right.
First season, 40-0.
That's right. It was the first game of the season. Yeah, and I think this could be even worse. That's right. Yeah. I forgot they played week 1. Yeah, so
not good. Not looking good for the Giants.
This is Sunday night. Yep. Jets at the Vegas Raiders. Ooh.
I'm gonna go Raiders.
They're
I think
home.
getting that revamped front office, getting the new QB. I'm going Raiders. The Jets just haven't been playing good.
Yeah, the Jets are not a great team, but I think with the new QB and some of the struggles that the Raiders offense has had, the Jets defense is so good. What I'm saying?
I thought about that, but
because I agree, the Jets have been good, and the Raiders have looked.
One thing I think you got to keep in mind with this game, though, is their defense has been good, and obviously a lot of that's just talent is what it comes down to. But you've also got to think of game prep. How do you prep for a team that has had 1 week? That's true. Because the new coach, so it's a completely different system, new quarterback, new player, like entirely new.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's going to play a big factor. That's why I'm saying Vegas.
Now that I think about it, though, Vegas, especially like Max Crosby, is a great defender.
I have convinced, almost maybe.
Yeah, no, because I was thinking the Jets' defense against that offense. I think it's gonna be a very similar game actually to the Chargers-Jets game this week. Because the Jets' offense does not look good. If the Raiders' defense, especially Max Crosby, can cause issues, I say the Raiders. Now, I'm going back and forth in my own head because I was originally gonna pick the Jets.
It's gonna be a close game, and it's favored as such.
It is
half point spread.
It is at Vegas. You know what? I think it could go either way, but I'm gonna stick with my original. I'm gonna go Jets.
Go with your gut.
Yeah. So
the final game of the week, that Monday night, Denver Buffalo.
So this is interesting because Denver's coming off of a bye. Their last game they played, they beat the Chiefs. Coming into Buffalo now, Buffalo coming off of a loss.
Because
important game for
Buffalo anyway.
Well, especially for us, yeah.
I'm gonna look. Okay, the Broncos are gonna win out and win the Super Bowl, so they're gonna beat you guys. The funny thing is,
you said that after after they beat the Chiefs. I think you said that. Like, hey, the Broncos are the best team in the league now. They beat
They have to be.
I'll say this: the Broncos are a better team than their record. They just haven't been able to figure out ways to win.
I don't know. They played some pretty bad games earlier this season.
But Russell Wilson is not necessarily
Russell Wilson
terrible.
has been like one of the lone bright spots.
And we saw when they put it together what they could do to good teams, like when they did. So, as a Bills fan, this makes me a little bit nervous. We have to win. We're at home. And this is probably one of our easiest games left on our schedule, honestly. And it's not necessarily prime time. Josh Allen, I will say, throughout his career has been pretty good, I think, on Monday nights at home. Yeah, obviously
it's Monday at home.
I got to go Bills.
Most reasonable people would pick the Bills.
Come on.
I'm going to pick Denver as my weekly crazy upset prediction.
We got to –
Last week it didn't go
I will
so
say,
well.
if we got to play better, though. I mean, we just got to play –
It is not an impossible scenario to say that Denver wins this game.
And one of the people that needs to play better, by the way, that I didn't mention – the former Bronco, Von Miller, I know he's coming off an injury, but he's been back. He's not been himself. He's still not been himself, and we need you, Von. Please beat up on your former team. And now there's 4 bye weeks. That wraps up the week, by the way,
best
Monday night.
Yeah, 3 of the best teams in the league at bye weeks.
Chiefs, Dolphins, Eagles, and Rams. So, some big teams on byes this week. So it should be another interesting week, though. My team gets another primetime game. Hopefully we win. We need to win. Let's see. Detroit Chargers, I think, could be a good game. I'm interested to see how Dobbs continues to play.
I'm interested in the Giants-Jacksonville game just because I think this
or the 49ers-Jacksonville.
49. Yeah. Sorry, not Giants.
No, you're good.
San Francisco Giants is baseball.
Yeah, wrong.
Wrong sport. Just because I think it'll be interesting to see if Jacksonville can hold their own against a very good team.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though San Francisco hasn't looked the past couple weeks, coming off a bye, they have everybody back. I'm also excited to see Stroud against another good team.
Agreed. That's another, and also the Cleveland-Baltimore game, I think, will be.
This is going to be a week of fun games to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, every week is fun football.
The funny thing is, last week when we were talking about some of the games that we thought were going to be good, some of those weren't as good. But some of the games we didn't talk about as much were the good games. Yeah. So you never know. There's going to be some good games in here no matter what.
No matter what, every week there's fun football. There's always crazy stuff that happens. Somebody throws for 9 million yards.
As we talked about, that middle of the pack is very close. So as we get down the stretch past the midway point of the season, every week, every game is getting that much more important.
Yeah,
so for every team, really. So it's getting closer to playoffs, and this is the important weeks are yet to come.
Yes. So every week becomes more and more important. Every win becomes more and more important, and every loss becomes even that much worse. So
it's going to be another great week. I think we covered everything. This past week was awesome again. Looking forward to another great week.
It was. And come Super Bowl, I think we'll be seeing the Eagles versus the Broncos. My new prediction.
Well, his pick was Eagles-Chiefs, but the Broncos beat the Chiefs.
The Broncos beat the Chiefs, which means the Broncos are better than the Chiefs.
The funny thing is, I picked the Bills-49ers, which at the beginning of the season looked good, but as of late, it's starting to not look.
Both of those teams.
No, both teams. Now they can still turn around. They're both talented teams, but
I'm not really worried about the 49ers. I don't think anybody is.
I think
there are people worried about the Bills at this point.
I agree.
But
as a Bills fan, sad to say, I still actually have more confidence in my 49ers pick than I do my own team. It's just, as a Bills fan, I know how it goes. It's been tough going. We have the talent. Can we turn around, please? I hope we do. But either way, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
We'll see.
We will see
you folks next week.